as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year she's not playing well. She's hurt. She's not there for all the games. So this is actually not as great as it could be.
Indiana looked terrific, especially in that first half, the second quarter where they scored 36 points, and they were just able to get things done efficiently on the offensive end, but on the defensive end was where I was really impressed.
Imagine stepping into an arena and feeling the same buzz reserved for legends like Michael Jordan. That's what happened when Caitlin Clark arrived in Chicago. But what exactly is it about Clark that brought out thousands of fans, thunderous ovations, and even envy from the Chicago Bulls themselves? The answer might just signal a seismic shift for the WNBA. Stick around as we explore the unstoppable rise of this young superstar. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
The merchandise sales explosion, the ticket sale explosion, the TV rating increases, and more than anything, the valuation of the franchise explosion.
Put their best defenders on her, and for a rookie, that really speaks to what other people think about her, right? I think we've seen more defensive coverages than any other player, and statistically, that's just true, right?
Caitlin Clark's arrival in Chicago wasn't just a welcome, it was a spectacle. Thousands of fans packed into Wintrust Arena, but this crowd wasn't just your average group of basketball diehards. There were families, young girls wearing her college jersey, even grown men holding signs that said, "Caitlin for GOAT." The energy felt less like a basketball game and more like a legendary concert, the kind of insanity you'd see if Beyoncé were making a surprise appearance. But the wildest part? She hasn't even touched a WNBA court as a player yet. So what's going on here? What makes Caitlin Clark's growing stardom so different from anything we've seen in women's basketball before? To get it, we need to understand what she's rising above. For years, the WNBA has fought to carve out space in a sports world dominated by the NBA, NFL, and men's college basketball.
I don't have a problem with the WNBA players asking for a raise. The WNBA is on a hot streak. I don't care about the previous 24, 25 years.
We talk about that all the time, just making sure that we get stops because we like to play fast. We like to get the ball up and go in transition. And so we knew that we just had to make sure that we were focused on that end and make sure that we're connected.
You know the knock. The league has faced struggles with attendance, media coverage, and, maybe most frustratingly, the stigma that women's basketball lacks excitement. It's been an uphill climb to prove that the talent, the stories, and the drive in this league are every bit as engaging as what you'd find in a men's game. Players like Diana Taurasi, Candace Parker, and Sue Bird have each done their part to elevate the game, but it's no secret that getting mainstream buy-in has been a slow battle. Now picture this. Caitlin Clark shows up, and suddenly that battle feels different. The moment she walked onto Chicago's hardwood, there was an electricity that could have lit up the whole arena. Fans stood and cheered for what felt like forever, just for her entrance. Clark isn't even officially in the WNBA yet, but already she's sparking comparisons to Michael Jordan, the hometown icon who turned Chicago basketball into a global phenomenon. The idea isn't far-fetched either. If Jordan made basketball feel bigger than a sport, more like a lifestyle or a cultural movement, Clark's doing something similar for women's basketball right now. When you look at the sheer scale of attention, you start to understand why.
Rising tide lifts all boats. The girl is spectacular. It's not like she's not a scrub. She's not only can play, she's a star caliber player.
The fever with Caitlin's evaluation has got up 273%. The rest of the teams, on average, have risen by 100%.
Media outlets aren't just giving her a passing shout out. They're dedicating full segments to her performances, her potential. Sponsors are lining up to capitalize on her growing star power. Her college games have pulled better television ratings than some NBA playoff games. Let that sink in for a second. That isn't just a star athlete. That's someone redefining what the ceiling might be for women's basketball. And it's not just happening in the big moments. It's in the small interactions where her connection with fans becomes crystal clear. Take what happened after this Chicago appearance. Instead of rushing off after the game ended, like most stars might, Clark stayed courtside for over 20 minutes, signing autographs, taking selfies, talking to fans. Think about that. Not only is she one of the hottest names in basketball right now, but she's also willing to give her time back to the people who support her. And it's not a one-off thing. She does this all the time. Earlier this year, she visited schools, speaking to young kids about what it takes to chase dreams. She's not just building her brand, she's building relationships. This is what makes her different. Plenty of athletes have the highlights, the championships, the sponsorship deals, but how many have that kind of authenticity? How many feel reachable, relatable, even when they blast through defenses on national TV or hit shots from the logo like it's nothing?
Drawn not only to the normal fans, but to all those young girls that are there in the stadium, that have on her jerseys, that are screaming and hollering, and they want her autograph.
If Caitlin Clark plays in the All-Star game, it will set records. But now, because of her popularity, even if she doesn't, it will break records.
Clark taps into something deeper. Fans don't love her just because she's great at basketball. Their connection is emotional, whether it's her unapologetic competitive fire on the court or her willingness to engage directly with everyday people. There's an authenticity to the way she carries herself that's nearly impossible to fake. It's paying off in ways the WNBA has been dreaming about for years. When you see thousands of Chicago fans treating her like the hometown hero, it feels like more than a personal celebration for Clark. It feels like a win for everyone invested in women's basketball. For a long time, people questioned whether the league could create stars big enough to pull casual fans into the fold. Caitlin has proven they can, and she does it without bending herself into something she's not. The WNBA doesn't just have a star in her, it has an ambassador who shows how an individual can elevate the game by staying real.
It's time to grow up, girls. Like fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow.
It's a zombie company. It loses money. Nobody's going to the game. Thank God they get Caitlin Clark. She's injured for 2 weeks. All of a sudden, attendance goes down. This is not going to work long term. You trust me.
The big takeaway? Caitlin Clark isn't just having a moment. She's headed towards something legendary, and the WNBA is lucky enough to be along for the ride. The standing ovations and the huge crowds aren't just about her talent, they're about what she represents. For every young player watching her, for every fan who's been waiting for women's basketball to have its big breakthrough, she's proof that it's possible. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rising star. Her impact is reshaping the WNBA's future. The massive turnout she inspired in Chicago, the kind usually reserved for legends like Michael Jordan, shows that fans are hungry for something bigger. Clark connects in ways that transcend the court, whether she's signing autographs for kids or showing up to hand out backpacks. It's authentic. The big question now is whether the WNBA will harness this momentum or let it fizzle. Either way, one thing's clear. Caitlin isn't just changing women's basketball. She's challenging the whole sports world to pay attention. And this is only the beginning.